industrial items, and it uses electricity to run the machinery that they used in this era to produce those goods in most settings. Goods consumer micro, same thing. Timber, well, actually different. Apparel doesn't use timber. Goods consumer micro uses timber, agriculture, and electric to produce their goods, but they have a small output capacity. So this is nice for the countries that were slightly behind in development in this era, because before, every single consumer goods facility used that to produce, regardless of whether it was a small volume of production or a large volume of production. They all used ore, petroleum, rubber, and coal. Now I have a variety, so I can place these on the map to keep certain economies alive in the absence of other commodities that they didn't really have a surplus of, yet they still obviously produced economically within via other means of production. And this sort of variety in these facilities will bring that level of detail to various economies throughout the globe. Goods consumer micro, timber, like you think about like shit like swing sets, made out of wood back then, specialty cakes, factories that produce these goods use electric. So there you go. That's why you got the timber, the agriculture, and electric. Goods consumer mid is basically the same thing as a goods consumer micro. It has a slightly higher output, and it also uses industrial goods in addition to the timber, agriculture, and electric. Goods consumer uses ore, electric, rubber, agriculture, and timber, and it has a higher output than both of these combined, but it also has a higher consumption rate of all goods, so it makes it interesting. Goods regional textile, I got to adjust this a little bit because right now this is a case where I could just build a bunch of these and never build any of the other ones. I got to think more about how much the facilities should cost and how much their maximum output should be, but I have it absorbing the raw materials that a textile facility should absorb in rubber, possibly ore for tin, for buttons and shit, and various other metals that they use to create zippers and shit like that. I don't know, I'll figure it out. But for now, that's where that sits. Petroleum manufacturing, like I said, is in all three categories. My market no longer produces agriculture. It uses agriculture, and it brings a supply bonus to the hex. I gave it a 12.5% supply bonus, and it costs a good amount of money. It uses agriculture and electric now, but it improves supply, which is what a supermarket does for a community. It brings food, what we eat, how we live, to our immediate location, and we are able to purchase goods at a reasonable distance from our home, which has positive aspects about that I won't even bother to mention. I feel like it. Rubber plantation, rubber since they've been there. Timber. I'm gonna make like a pulp mill or something, but again, that would be similar to like how I'm doing these facilities with the variety of what they produce and what they consume. Like the power peat biomass that uses timber and agriculture, because peat is like that's what it is. It's a biomass. It's like a big clump of organic matter that can be heated and used to create energy in various formats. They're heavily used, to my knowledge, along with coal and petrol plants in like Finland and like Russia. That's where I've seen them most commonly associated with historical construction. Power petrol is I got the science behind it. How much more electric petrol, how much more efficient petrol is per ton or per 1,000 tons versus coal and electric versus 1,000 tons. So I'm gonna have to take those figures and translate them into how much more electric Power Petrol will produce versus a Power Coal facility in 1936, based on the difference one would get in energy as a byproduct of either petroleum as a fuel source or coal as a fuel source at the same measured weights. And then I'll have new figures for how much the difference is between Power Petrol output and Power Coal output. Still got a few oddballs I got to configure to get them correct as far as that kind of crap in the game. As far as this infrastructure goes, this is a incredibly detailed map that I'm using, provided me by Clason Mapco, Denver, Colorado. It's a Clason's guide map of the United States, and it is 1927, or no, 1919. This is the infrastructure as far as major railroads, like Pacific Railroad and shit like that, Eastern Pacific Railroad or Western, whatever, There are heavy transportation lines throughout the country. This is those railroads that are listed on that map in this exact layout for the bulk of the country now. I've redone and rehoned a lot of what I did before with my Rand McNally Atlas, because this is much more fitting for what I'm looking to achieve with this game and its play, and the way it plays and operates. So this is actually perfect for what I'm looking to do. Virginia, I just started touching on. West Virginia, I got the northern rail section in. I still got to do the southern rail that goes to Charlottesville, or wait, no, what the hell is it called? Charleston. I knew it was similar to Charlottesville or Charleston, or something with the Carolinas. Pennsylvania's rail networks are reconfigured for the most part. It's Philly, Reading, New York, Cleveland, Toledo. Starts with a C, ends with an O, and in the middle is Hicog. St. Louis, east and west. Kansas City, Missouri and Kansas. Omaha. Oh, I got another beautiful map provided me by C.S. Hammond & Co., New York. The mobilization defense map of the United States military in World War II. This is This is approximately 1942, I would think, 1941. This map that I'm using, and it has a legend of Army and Navy stations. General headquarters is a big star, Washington D.C. Army Corps areas and headquarters are a star with a red dash, a red star with a red dash. Army camps and forts are a red circle. Army airfields are a red airplane symbol. Naval stations are a blue circle, and naval airfields are a small blue airplane. Then it also has defense industries, industrial areas with a cogwheel to mark all the major industrial areas in the entire countries. It has all the major shipyards marked. It has areas where they manufacture planes highlighted with a light gray airplane that sits over the location. And it also provides names of these places and establishments, all these forts and establishments as well. It has all the locations where they produce guns, which would be like cannons, down to rifles, munitions. It's like black powder factories and shit like that. Tanks. I believe I read it a long time ago. I'm not going to reference the map at this point. There was only one tank factory in the United States, in Detroit, the Ford plant. That's the only one we needed. We produced all the tanks we needed in a surplus, and that's how we did it. Oil wells has all the major oil fields marked, although I have better sources for that. But this is still a nice reference guide to skim over and make sure I got them all. There's actually an excellent map online that I don't have the name of the site off the top of my head, but I have it in my bibliography as a reference. Chemical factories are marked with like a sideways comma. Mines are marked on the map with a shovel and a pickaxe. Steel plants are a gray silhouette of a steel plant, and they're marked at all the major locations where there are steel plants and aluminum factories, which I'm just substituting for industrial micro facilities for now. And I got pretty much all of the major forts, establishments, airfields, and production centers identified and placed on my map for about, I got Nebraska, Kansas,